Welcome back to Stroke, the art of mental stimulation. For those of you who don't know, you're about to get stroked up, man. We're about to touch subjects at depths that most people aren't willing to go. We're really raw and transparent. We don't hold back. We always go deep. And I promise you, you may have heard it all before, but not quite like this.
Well, you know we got to get with it.
Always.
One of the biggest problems we have in our world, and I'm sorry for diving straight in.
Oh, just like that?
You know, we have a tendency, you got to warm people up is what they say.
You're not going to even test the waters.
Well, let's do it this way then.
Okay, let's go.
As you said, welcome back. Mm-hmm. We're traveling a road.
Okay.
And we got to find our way.
Okay, that's the way it goes. Is that life?
That's how it's supposed to be.
Okay.
It's a journey, right?
Right, it's a journey, man. Come along with us.
Take this voyage.
All right, let's ride.
You know what they call that? That's a song. You want to make one, a new melody.
Oh, yeah, I'm with it. Every day we making a wave.
Oh, it sounds like you're creating a new vibe.
A new frequency?
You got to tune in on Fridays so you understand what that means.
Oh, man, if you guys didn't listen to that Vibe for 5, you might want to double back and go find that thing, man. That's the one, man. The vibe is real.
Well, melody's a thing, so let's get straight to it then.
Okay.
What is the value?
What determines your value?
What is the value?
The value of what?
Life or whatever you deem it to be.
So when you speak about that, I remember having a conversation with a friend. You were there, and you actually asked this friend a question. You was like, what did you ask her? What do you value?
What is it that you value?
What is it that you value? And she was kind of stumped. She was kind of puzzled. And she actually said, no one has ever asked me that before. And you'll think that's something everybody knows because everybody always, all the memes, know your value. You should know your value and all this. But who's really been asked that question? I mean.
Or who's focusing on it for themselves?
Not even that. What determines your value?
What does?
What determines your value? That's a question I'm asking you right now. What determines your value?
Is it outside influence? Mm-hmm. Is it you?
Okay.
Is it your career?
Okay.
Is it your religion? What is it?
It's whatever you find valuable, I guess. Whatever you give value to.
I would say that if you want to deem anything valuable, what is life?
Right.
Is life important to you? Mm-hmm. What do you want out of life?
Right.
And I think you'll probably find the equation.
I think in the world, other people see your value as a service you can provide to them and the use they have of it. I mean, that's in every area. I think that's how other people determine your value or weigh your value. And I was also thinking before, too, when it comes to your value, how you see yourself, does your value even matter or is your value even real if it's not reflected to the outside world? So other people should be able to see your value. When people say, I'm valuable, I mean, treat me like I'm worth.
First of all, you should, who's expressing that? That's one of the things that we have to do is not project. Mm-hmm. That's a problem that we have in our society. When we project, we're trying to control, the atmosphere that exists around us.
Right.
That's a lack of value, by the way.
But I'm just saying, like, when you literally think of it, man, that was a real question for me. Like, your value, is it really how other people see it? Like, how your value is defined? Because inside, you can see all this stuff inside of you and say, this is me and this is who I am, and you hold yourself this high, but it's not reflecting to the world. They don't see it. Are you truly valuable?
Well,
does it really just matter what's within?
Well, no, the most important thing is how much do you value life? Okay. When you value life, that comes through your body, your spirit. Okay. In other words, you treat people with kindness. You treat people with respect. Mm-hmm. You try your best in life to be a representation of what value is, which is life. Right.
But what makes you valuable, though? It has to be some other counterpart. So it has to be how other people see you, right? Well, it has to be defined. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, perspective is a thing. And yes, if somebody feels like they can express the fact that you mean something to them. Right. Now, that should not define you. Right. Because that would be ignorant.
It's like, because a lot of people, they always talk about their value, and then let's say they're not a kind person or they're not putting good energy out into the world, but they always screaming, know my worth, know my value. So like, what determines your value? Does that even matter? How you see yourself?
Nobody should do that, though.
They do it, though.
I'll give you an example that's biblical. It says, do not pray in the street. P-R-A-Y, not P-R-E-Y. Okay. Manipulation is a dangerous game. We'll come back to that. So pray not in the street. Mm-hmm. You know what that means?
Explain it.
Well, simply put, that you make your expressions to God. Right. So nobody determines your value because God determines your value.
Right. So no matter if the world see it or not, if people see it or not, whatever you hold as your value is just what your value is.
Well, at the end of the day, I know what you should be a representation of.
Okay. All right.
That defines what you are.
Okay.
What are you? Ask yourself, how valuable are you? First of all, any human being walking the face of this earth, existing with a spirit within inside of them, or that's inside of them, is invaluable.
Okay.
So there is no value, there's no determination of what your worth is, because you're a human being in the spirit and descendant of God.
But you hear people talking about also, and I'm going to go to this, I don't know, it might be off on a tangent. I see a lot of high-value men and high-value women, and they have what they define this as. You know, if you want to be with a high-value man or high-value woman. So the world actually has a list of what it means to be valuable, though. They really do, a criteria, a protocol of what that is. And number one, the biggest one, it seems like always in it when they say high-value woman or high-value man, it seems like it's always monetary, too. Like, money is always included.
That's a huge problem.
As far as your career, what you're doing with your life, that's your value. Independent woman, independent man, handling business, you know, got things going on. So you're saying people who do not have any of that going on, I mean, they're not valuable?
Well, it's not that,
it could just be, go ahead.
Well, all I was going to say is it's not that they're not valuable. Every single person is valuable. They're a representation of what life is. Now, what we put our value in other words, what we invest in, because that's what you determine what is valuable to you. Right. You might determine that, you know, having a house, having a car, or having certain investments makes you valuable. Right. So now you're trying to put a measure to your worth, you know, a dollar amount or some type of a status to your worth.
Right.
That's not how we're supposed to live as people. Do you think that's what we're supposed to do?
Oh, no, man. And when we were talking to that friend and you asked about, you know, what she value, what her value is, I forgot how you phrased it or how you worded it. She was stumped for a minute. She was like, it's so broad, it's so many avenues to look at it, you know. And we went like, we'll go with the first one to come to your mind, or if you're broad, be broad. You know, don't try to have the filters and don't try to be right or wrong. Just go with whatever you feel. So overall, she kept going back and forth. She was puzzled. Then she finally said, well, I'm going to go with value in relationships. And then, you know, she started calling out what she deemed valuable in relationships and all the qualities and all the things that she wanted to be. And that's when we said, bam, pinpoint right there. You value love. You value love because you said it was broad and out of all that broad stuff, and you thought, and the one thing you came up with and pinpointed is love. So deep down, I think she already knew that in the beginning. That's what she felt, but she didn't know which way we wanted to go with it and about which way we want to go. Well, it's about what you value, what you find value. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to yourself.
Man, see, now you put me in that area where we're talking about perspective again. You know,
that's what it is.
Are we looking for validation? You can go right back and rewind that episode, because validation leads to your perspective of what value is. Okay. We're trying to connect the dots and, you know, bring us all along. Okay. You know, imagine for a second that you were locked in a cage. Okay. You know, in the darkness or a cave. Right. Either one, you know, and you sat there for, I don't know, 3 months, purebred darkness. Right. Would you want to be gradually brought to the light? Or would you want to go straight to it?
When you think about it, I would want to gradually, but most people don't think like that. Automatically in your mind, I just want to get out this cave. And you jump out and you bam, you blinded by the light or whatever. But, you know, the smart thing to do would, you know, walk out, you know, very slowly, kind of get adjusted to things, get adjusted to the light and go ahead out there. But, you know, that ain't the case most times.
Right. And that's why we have to understand certain principles. Our value is not determined by another person. Right. Their perspective should not define you. Now, again, I go back to those simple principles that you and I were talking about a little earlier: kindness, love, joy, peace. You know, these are characteristics that should exist within you. Right. And that should be what you project, nothing else. You're not looking for validation out of another person. You know, so that's not going to lead you. If you do not seek validation from another person, that's not going to lead you to seek value from another person.
Right. And just like we were just talking about earlier, when I brought up high value people and, you know, what they use to rate that, you got to look at it. You just brought up kindness and love. You know, someone might find kindness and love valuable, so they hold things like kindness and compassion and empathy and all. They hold that very high. So, like you said, you can't measure your value, you know, going by what another thing is valuable, because y'all on two different spectrums. Though they might look at you like you're not valuable, somebody else might hold you high because, you know, y'all on the same wave. Y'all value the same things.
So what touched this particular principle? Self-love is supposed to be something that we have within ourselves. You know, that's one of the major fundamental guiding steps in living in this world. You know, you have to love yourself and you have to know how to love yourself.
Yeah, we preach that all the time.
So when you're seeking, you know, your worth from another person, That's why I use the word invaluable. We are invaluable. We're living, right? We're breathing every single day. Your life, your representation of continual life. We cannot minimize our own value.
Everybody matters, man, because people, we get stuck in the flesh, and, we're all energy. We all come together. I don't want to go deep, but, we're the universe. And for people who think that doesn't mean God,
always go deep.
God is the universe. God created the universe. So, I'm going to have to go there, though. So, yeah, man.
All right, well, let's outline a couple factors then.
Okay.
You say what determines your value.
Yeah.
So as each individual looks in the mirror, as they analyze themselves, which is a major problem.
Right.
Because when you analyze, now you start determining value. I simply will say to myself, and I pray that everybody tries to at least do this for themselves. It's not about your analytical view of yourself, your self-criticism. There's a biblical or a passage that says something along the lines that your tongue has condemned you, but God already forgave. So when you start measuring your value, you're looking at what you think is worthy.
Right.
So now you'll start looking to other people, and they're all their applauses.
Right.
We can't do that to ourselves. That's dangerous.
I'm going to simplify it again. I think I already said it before. Just to simplify this all together, I think whatever you deem valuable is what you find value in. Just simply put, man. And myself, I want to sit here on this mic, the same question we asked of her. What do I deem valuable? What do I see the value in myself? When I look within, not being right or wrong, just spitting it straight out, straight from the spirit. I don't know how it's going to come out. I'm just about to talk. I'm about to zone out right quick. Love, just like she said. Kindness. I value ambition. I value trust. I value loyalty. I value, good, positive relationships. So, at the end of the day, when I describe all that, I think the biggest thing that I really value is peace. So that's what I look for in another. So, when I find peaceful people, those are the people that are, deem valuable, because that's what I look at within myself when I look in that mirror. So, I'm looking forward to reflect outside of me. So, therefore, that's what I would be looking for.
Man, I started snapping my fingers. Inside of me, outside of me.
I told you I was going to zone out, man. I need you to do the same, though. Go ahead with it. Whatever come out.
Hey, look,
is what it is.
I'm appreciative of the fact that you can freely express yourself just like that, and that's inspirational. For me, when I think about value, I look in the mirror and I always want peace within inside of myself.
Okay.
Love is a representation of what I really am, and that'll never change. No one gets to dictate that.
Right.
That's the beauty of knowing your worth. They have songs out there that always talks about a woman's worth. And I say, run that by me again. Run that by me one more time.
One more time, run that back.
Well, so for me, I look inside, this man, and I say, hey, God gave me breath.
Okay.
I can breathe. I have life.
Okay.
That's the first thing. What you choose to do with that life is also your value. What are you about?
Right.
That's also a measure if you want to bring in the analytical view. Like, what are you doing with your life? How do you affect people?
Right.
What is your intention in life? And I bet you could look in the mirror and start to determine what your value is.
Right. And I was just about to say that too. We always try to put things in simple steps, and you brought up that mirror, and that was just on my mind because you said it earlier and it sparked it. I think everybody should just sit down, close your eyes if you want to, lay down, whatever, and just, some people call it meditation almost. That's what it feels like. Close your eyes and just think about the thing that just totally puts you at ease, totally put your mind at ease, totally makes your spirit feel free, and you'll know what you deem valuable. Just actually think of those things, that'll make you so-called happy or, make you feel good. And I think at the end of the day, you think it's super simple. This world complicates it and make you think it's a lot more. But those simple things you think when you close your eyes and you reflect in that spiritual mirror, that's what it is. That's what you hold valuable. So I think that's what determines your value, what you have within and what you want to reflect. I can't get it out. Reflect outside of yourself.
At the end of the day, you got to be careful because this, not you, but in general, what we do sometimes is reflect what is within. And most people can't see it because we're so passive in the sense that we're so occupied with our own lives that we miss each other.
That's a good one too.
And then when we finally connect to a degree, we're measuring.
Right.
Everybody's analyzing. Everybody's trying to read somebody. Yeah. See, when you're reading somebody, you're trying to determine something. You're trying to put something to it. A comparison, a measurement, which leads to a value.
Or maybe you're just trying to see what it is.
Same thing.
I mean, you think you're measuring just to see what I'm not holding it against anything, I'm not judging it or whatever. Sometimes I'm just reading just to see what it is. Okay, that's what it is, or that's what that person's value. That's that person's boundaries, man. That's what that person thinks. You can read a lot of different things. So I think it can be looked at on the flip side as well.
It can, and one of the things I think we have to do for each other as people is that when we interact with one another, we determine nothing. First of all, we're not God. We're no judge.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
We can't even measure value in the capacity that he can. He determines.
I think that's a good one right there. Because when you measuring according to God. I said job. When you measure according to God, man, not the world. The world will tell you you're not valuable enough. The world will tell you those things that you hold worthy are not good enough, man. But when you, like I said, reflect within, you already see what you hold high. And most of the time, it's probably connected to God if you get deep down within your core. Because that's where it starts with, man. He put it inside of you. So, sometimes you got to become silent. Kind of like you're in the library, man. Like you're not supposed to speak.
Well, get out with nature and listen to it. God created it. So
it seems.
And that's funny to me because that's Romans, I think, 12:1 or something like that. But it's in the book of Romans, okay? And I'll come back to that because sometimes I forget. I'm getting up in age.
Oh, I mean, it don't matter.
But, I'll look at this and I'll say, your value is determined by what you want to achieve. Don't measure it or get, off track trying to see what your progression is.
Right.
Because that's another thing that we have. Remember earlier I mentioned that we condemn ourselves with our own tongue, but God already forgave.
Right.
We can also turn that into the capacity that we'll start looking at ourselves and analyzing ourselves and say, man, why I haven't achieved this yet? I'm not worthy yet because I haven't gotten this far yet.
The worldly standards.
Right?
The worldly standards, yeah.
What they see. So, again, we're putting their value over ours.
Right. And I do that, too. We always talk about that, man. We're not perfect. I do that, so I have to find myself. Anytime I get in like this, sometimes low vibrational periods, I have to stop and think about it. It's like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm progressing. I look at where I came from, and I'm like, look at where I'm at now. So, what am I really measuring this by? You can't measure anything, success, achievements by other people's achievement, success, because everybody is on their own particular journey, and that may not be yours, They can have something that took 10 years, and for all God got yours coming in 3. Like, everybody's on their own entirely different journey, man. You have to realize that, man. It's all about you and all about the path that you're on. You kind of got to have tunnel vision a little bit.
Know your worth.
Yeah, know your worth, man.
Look at yourself.
Look at yourself.
Love another.
It's always love in the mix, right?
It has to be.
Everything starts with love.
If you're not about it, it's hurtful to yourself.
I got one thing because, we wrapping these things up a little quickly. I want to ask you, is it a such thing as a person not having any value? Would that be like a dark, evil person? Or does everyone have value? You just saying they just don't realize it?
Well, when we stop valuing ourselves, then we become extremely empty. And we're void, and that's a dangerous thing. So, yeah, there are people that exist that way.
So, value doesn't exist unless it's realized, reflecting outside of you.
You have to see it.
You have to see it. That's for other people have to see it, or you have to see it.
Oh, no, you have to see it.
You have to see it.
That's the most important factor. So if you can't see it, then nothing means anything.
Right. You can say all these things and all this great stuff, but if it's not reflecting outside of you where you're seeing it, that means it's invaluable, right?
Well, at the end of the day, let's look at it this way. If you do not believe within yourself certain characteristics or traits or ambitions or beliefs, when I'm talking about like love, kindness, respect, if you don't believe that within yourself that you are that, no one will see it outside of you. So that's immediately connected. That's the simplicity of that.
There's a person with potential who doesn't show it. Are they still considered valuable? They have the potential, but it's not reflecting outside of them. Would you still consider that person valuable?
Every life is.
Okay, that's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
Everyone's
you can't ever
valuable.
Get past that.
Right. Everyone's valuable. Whether it's realized or not, you're valuable. Sometimes you have to pull it out of you, but you're valuable. Know your value, know your worth.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't understand that you are a breathing, living being.
Right.
How can you be anything?
Right.
how can you be love or a representation of?
We're supposed to always hold ourselves high, man. We're the head, not the tail. God put us there. He said abundance is in our future. And it's probably a whole entirely different episode, but I just want to mention this. I was talking to my sister today, and we were talking about like abundance and things people have and people who are successful. And I was thinking back to the olden days. People really use their gifts. And we talked about it in another episode. They really used their gift. You had the carpenter, man. You had the weaver or whatever. And all these people that were making money using their gift, they were happy because they was using exactly what they had inside of them. They didn't necessarily have a skill set or go to school for it or whatever. It was just
it turned into a skill.
Yeah, it did. But I'm saying they went with what was inside of them, man. And that's all I'm saying. I was just thinking about that off on a tangent. Like, God really equipped us with everything inside of us. Be that person. Don't be afraid to step out into the light, man. If people think you're shining too bright, put on those sunglasses, man. Let them put on those sunglasses. Don't stop being you, man. Don't hold back. Don't wait for somebody to tell you it's okay to show your value. Don't wait for somebody to tell you it's okay to show your worth. Know your worth.
Right. You know, one of the things that we talk about, compliments, right? You know, and this is in private quarters. You know, all of us need compliments. But if you're not complimenting yourself, then how can you build value in yourself?
I guess that people think it sounds better coming from another. Validation.
There you go.
Validated.
Right back at it.
Right. Validation. You already know what you are, but hearing somebody else say it.
Know your own word.
And let that be enough. Know your worth, and that's enough. If nobody else sees it, you see it, God sees it, and that's all that matters, man.
So ask yourself a very pertinent question. When you look in the mirror, when you get up in the morning, you thank God for living, because one of the things we talked about one time was gratitude. So when you get up and you say, I'm grateful,
right,
I'm breathing. When you get to the mirror, maybe you're washing your face, maybe you're brushing your teeth. Look at yourself and say, what determines my value?
Right. And we already know what that is, man.
Is it another person or is it God?
I don't even know. I was supposed to come after that. Was that like a mic drop? It should have been.
I don't know if I want to speak because there are like 3 words right there that wants me to take it to another level.
Oh, so we better
wait. Like go deep.
We better pause?
Like you got scuba gear?
You holding back?
Sometimes I have to.
Oh, man. Ain't nobody trying to dive that deep. You know, they haven't even found all of the Titanic. It's so far down. Maybe next time.
Is there a person down there?
Oh, wow. Man, we got caught up on a tangent real quick, man. But like you said, we're not going to hold you. We in the 20 zone right now. We doing good. We kind of keeping it around 20 lately. Anything you want to say before we get out of here, Stro?
Hey, man, love yourself. Be about life. And when I say be about life, express your gratitude to yourself and to others. You know, smile, laugh, love. You know, those are some things we have to do. And never let any person determine what your value is. Be a representation of what God is doing for us. And we're supposed to be made in His image. So understand that you're invaluable. You can't even measure that.
Right. And to sum that all up and to wrap this all up, what determines your value? You do. You determine your own value, man.
You know what happened?
But you guys know what happened, man. You just got stroked up. Oh, don't forget at Strok'd, STROK'D _ the podcast, at Strok'd, STROK'D _ the podcast. Hit us up. You already know what time it is. Let us know how you feel about this episode. And check out the other episodes too, man. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, man. Put it out there. If you don't do anything else, well, I'm not asking for any money. We're not out here asking for you to shake your pockets. Just, it's free. Hit subscribe, man. Tune in. Bye.